Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Bean here, and today I'm coming at you with what is going to end up being a very short video because it is my recent reads, and since the last time I posted one of these, I have read 7 books. So it's not terrible, but it's honestly not one of my better months, and I had a bunch of stuff going on this month, and I have no reason why I didn't read. We did get a lot of writing done, which is fun, except for the fact that now we're going to be rewriting everything because first draft issues, hashtag first draft problems, writer problems. But yeah, so I read 7 books this past month, and 2 of them were on my TBR. So I think it's safe for me to say that I failed in my game. But since I've already filmed and done my TBR for October, I'm not going to talk much about that. I'm not going to do any punishments for this month. I'm going to do punishments starting next month, though, and basically what the punishment is going to end up being is that my books are going to roll over another month. So I'm still going to draw the same amount of cards and everything like that. But that's for a different video. That's not this video. This is the results video. I'm just going to do my recent reads. I'm just going to go through the books that I read. I only have 3 physical copies because the other ones were audiobooks for the most part. I read 2 nonfiction books this month, actually, which is kind of unusual for me. I finally continued with my Agatha Christie read, and yeah, but alright, so we're just going to start off with the beginning of the month. I did start off reading a book that was on my TBR, and I ended up reading Inferno by Dan Brown. I know I said that I was reading The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown, but I started it and realized that I had already read it. I read it last year, and I just was getting all of them all confused and mixed up. So, what can I say about this one? I ended up giving Inferno 4 out of 5 stars. It was a good story. This book follows Robert Langdon on another adventure as he wakes up in a hospital and suddenly he realizes that he does not remember the past several days. And we follow him as he attempts to remember what is going on, remember what he's done the last couple days, and try and figure out why there's a group of people out trying to kill him. So this was actually probably one of my top as far as the books in this series. I was genuinely impressed with it and a little bit actually kind of thrown by it because it was different than the other ones, and since all the other ones kind of followed the same pattern, and this one, while it also varied from that. I liked the concentration on Dante's The Inferno, which is something that I've always found personally pretty interesting, so I did enjoy this book overall. This does almost conclude my read of this series. I am debating if I'm going to read Origins or not. Let me know down in the description below if you've read Origins by Dan Brown, because I'm very hesitant to read it since it is not rated very well and people are saying just to end with Inferno. So let me know what you think and we'll see what I do. The next book that I read was The Labors of Hercules, number 27 in the Hercule Poirot series by Agatha Christie. Now, this was a very interesting book, and I really did enjoy it. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5, and I ended up really liking this one because it was another one that was a series of short mysteries that Poirot solves. So basically, this one follows the Labors of Hercules, each one individually, as Poirot basically compares himself to Hercules, as that's who he was named after. Once he has solved a crime that matches each of the Labors of Hercules, he is going to retire. Now, obviously, I'm guessing he doesn't retire since there are more books in this series. However, it was really quite cool to see him go through all of this and still to learn about things like the Nemean lion and the golden fur and all of that. So it was very interesting, and the mysteries were well done, per usual. I have come to expect nothing less from Agatha Christie's writing. So I look forward to continuing on with this series. Although this one really showed Poirot as having that ego that we have come to know he definitely possesses. He definitely thinks he's the smartest man in the world, and it's kind of funny at times. The next book that I finished was Girl, Wash Your Face. Stop Believing the Lies About Who You Are So You Can Become Who You Were Meant to Be by Rachel Hollins. I actually ended up listening to the audiobook for this one while I was at work, and I've been having a bit of a depression-filled month. My meds are being switched and all of this, so it's a whole big thing right now, and this book definitely helped a little bit with getting me out of that slump. It was very informative, it was very interesting, and it was very uplifting as well. It reminds you that you're not alone, that you're not the only person that goes through these things, and that messy life is definitely a thing. But I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5. I highly recommend it. I really do recommend listening to the audiobook. She reads it herself. And so I am going to be trying to read Girls Stop Apologizing. This was definitely a great book, and I do highly recommend it. The next book that I finished was White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. And this had a foreword by Michael Eric Dyson. Now, as you can see, I read this book and I actually annotated. So I took notes on the different things about, as a white person, as someone who comes from middle-class white America, the Midwest, I didn't see this. This isn't something that really was obvious to me. And so reading this has definitely opened my eyes to the instances of racism that even I perpetrate every day. And it's definitely an eye-opener. If you're looking to be a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, or just a supporter of people of color in general, honestly, this is a great place to start, because it really talks about a lot of things that I never thought of, and now I'm actively thinking about many different aspects. And it was kind of cool because at the end, it was also, these green tabs are the things that you can do. So things that you can do to help. And it's not many, but it is a good place to start. So let me know what you guys think I should read next after finishing this one, because I definitely want to keep going and read more. So this, obviously 5 out of 5. I don't feel like I should be rating this book, because I think this is an informational book that everyone should read. The next book that I finished was The Last Life of Prince Alastor. This is the sequel to The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken. So this book picks up directly where the first book left off, and this time we get... I don't want to spoil the first book, so I'm not going to talk about this one really actually at all. But I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this one actually. As far as sequels go, I think that it was really well done. Going into the first book, so The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding follows a boy named Prosper Redding who is in middle school. I believe he's 12 or 13. And he comes to realize that one of his ancestors made a deal with the demon, and Prosper now is cursed with having this demon inside of him, basically like another voice inside of his head. And so the second book takes place, and we actually get flashbacks from Alastor, or the demon's perspective, as he goes back to why he made this deal with the human, and what that deal has cost him, and what the deal was, and where he was at. And we just get a whole background on it, which was very interesting, and it was kind of fascinating to see why it is Alastor believes what he does. I really enjoyed this book. And again, if you like middle grade or any sort of creepy things and like that sarcastic voice in the back of your head, you need to read this duology. It is so well done. The next book that I read was Delicious in Dungeon Volume 7 by Ryoko. This, again, it picked up where the last one left off, and we got a new character right here. And yeah, so I don't really want to get too much into this. Again, it's the 7th book in the series, but I am enjoying the heck out of this series. I am loving it so much. So I have one more, and then I believe I'm all caught up on what's out so far, because there are only 8 of them out. It's still in the process of coming out, and I just love how I can jump into this series, even if it's been a while since I've read the last one. This one kind of reminds me of a D&D campaign, where we follow characters as they are exploring a dungeon and meeting new people, defeating monsters, and then it's basically they're trying to survive in this dungeon. In this book, we do learn the origin story of one of our characters who we did not know, who we just randomly met in the first book, who all of our characters met, and we get to figure out where he came from and why he's down in the dungeon. that wasn't discovered, even though he's been there longer than it's been discovered. So this was definitely one that was packed full of backstory, and I really enjoyed it. Not to mention, there's a cat person, and they're like the most hilarious and adorable thing ever. So suffice to say, this got a 5 out of 5 from me. The last book that I ended up reading this past month was called Summoned, and this is the first book in the Demon Summoner trilogy by Mckayla Eaton. This follows a boy named Alton who is excelling so much in his studies of magic that he keeps getting transferred to different tutors. And now he ends up getting transferred to one tutor who is willing to teach him in a very unconventional way. And he ends up befriending a girl who is also being tutored by this man. He learns that the entire point of them being there is because they have the most unique way of thinking about things, and someone needs to capture a demon and take them back into hell. And so Alton has found that not everything is exactly what it seems in this house. I read this book, I listened to the audiobook actually for this for a blog tour that I was a part of, so if you want a full review, you should check out my blog, which the link is going to be down below. But I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5. I did enjoy it. It was a very quick audiobook to go through, and it was very well read. I liked the characters. I did find it a mite bit predictable, and I knew exactly like what was gonna happen for the most part, but I still enjoyed it and I would still recommend it. So that is what I have for you guys here today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, now is the perfect time to give us a thumbs up. And we post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So hit that subscribe button, and if you want to be notified whenever we post these videos, hit the little bell icon down below. In order to contact us, all of our information is down in the description, and we would love to hear from you guys in the comments. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading, guys. Bye!